Is that what is going to happen? Are we going to see a general election, and are we going to have a Prime Minister, Jeremy Corbyn?
There could be a general election, or there could be a government of national unity. I don't think there will be Brexit on the 31st of October, and I don't think that the new Conservative leader who will become the Prime Minister will survive for very long.
You don't? Well, you and I, we've spoken before about what could happen, and the last time we spoke, you were in favour of Parliament passing Theresa May's Brexit withdrawal plan with the provision that a people's vote, another referendum, be added onto it. That didn't happen. What do you think is going to happen now?
We put forward a compromise proposal. It was voted on twice. We nearly got there, but it wasn't passed by the House of Commons. And I think now we're not in a territory where compromises are possible, although there is one of the leadership candidates, Rory Stewart, who is speaking the language of compromise, but I think we are a long way away now from being able to find a compromise within the House of Commons. So I think one of the options that MPs will be reflecting on is, if faced with a no deal Brexit, should they pull the emergency cord? Should they revoke Article 50? And I think that is something that is very much in the minds of MPs who understand how damaging it would be for the United Kingdom to leave without a deal.
So are you foreseeing then a summer and early autumn in which there is a new Prime Minister, Conservative, who cannot deliver Brexit, and then Parliament says, OK, we have to forget about all of this? Is that what you're saying?
I think it could happen as early as this week. The Labour Party have tabled a motion for debate tomorrow, which would give Parliament the power to stop a no-deal Brexit.
But is there enough support, though, in Parliament for that?
Yes, I believe there will be.
I mean, for our viewers, just to explain to them, I mean, you would need, what percentage are we talking about would you need in Parliament in order for emergency brake to be pulled, to revoking Article 50?
Well, you need a straight majority.
So you need a simple majority.
Well, the debate tomorrow is a procedural issue, but it's extremely important, because if the motion that is being tabled on a cross-party basis by the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats and the Scottish National Party is passed, normally in the House of Commons, the government controls business, but this motion would give control of business in this matter of stopping Brexit to back to the House of Commons. And it's not saying we're going to revoke Article 50. It's saying that if Britain is heading towards a no-deal Brexit, then we will stop that. There is no authorisation from Parliament for a no-deal Brexit.
And you think that there is enough support, cross-party support, to get at least the resolution tomorrow passed, or this week?
It very nearly got passed last time, and I think tomorrow it will get passed. I think people are very nervous about the Conservative leadership race and the prospect of a Prime Minister trying to take Britain out of the European Union without a deal. And that would need parliamentary authority, and I don't believe that the mandate is there from Parliament to do that.
How do you explain the support or the popularity for Boris Johnson, then? He is the front runner, and I mean, everything that we have seen is when he goes out into the countryside and talks to Conservative Party members there, the support for him is overwhelming.
Well, Boris Johnson has built up his audience over a number of years as a television pundit, as a journalist, as a Conservative politician, as the Mayor of London, which gave him a very important platform at the time.
You have to admit, that's an achievement. He's a Tory, and he got a Labour voting London to make him mayor.
Yes, he's good at winning elections. It doesn't mean to say that he will be good at running the country. And I think that a lot of Conservative MPs have the same concern. It's interesting that Boris Johnson has not been in the media very much the last few weeks. He knows that the critical electorate for him over the next couple of weeks are Tory MPs who will decide which of the two Conservative candidates go through to the final ballot, and we'll know that at the end of next week.
But if that does happen, if we get that far, do you also foresee him as being the next Prime Minister?
It's hard to see who is going to stop Boris Johnson from achieving that and how they can do that.
What have you been hearing on this side of the channel, if you will? I mean, we hear people saying in London saying that they're even willing they want new negotiations. But the EU has already said we had 3 years of negotiations. There will be no new negotiations. What What are the other Europeans telling you?
Well, there can be no new negotiations, and that's entirely credible. This wasn't a deal between Theresa May and Jean-Claude Juncker. This was a deal between the European Union and the United Kingdom, and changing the Prime Minister isn't going to change anything. That doesn't stop Conservative candidates trying to claim that the things that they know are unrealistic.
But do the voters believe them, though, when they say they will demand changes to the withdrawal agreement, or that they will make the impossible possible?
Well, voters will be conditioned by the rhetoric in terms of which of the two candidates they vote for. And at the moment, it's just a question of who's going to win the race. But we have a famous horse race in Great Britain called the Grand National once a year, the most famous horse race. And one of our famous journalists in the UK described the Tory leadership race as the Grand National of unicorns and not of horses, of things that don't exist. Boris Johnson is promising huge tax cuts. Others are promising things that they must know perfectly well are undeliverable. And it's a symptom of broken politics in the UK, a fragmentation of politics and of a style of politics that is really something quite foreign for the UK, to have politicians promising things that they know. Not only do they know that they're not true, they know that they can't. There's no scenario in which they could be true.
Yeah, but, well, I would also say, Roger, that British politicians are not the only politicians who are guilty of that. Roger Casale, as always, it's good to have you on the program. We appreciate you coming in, too. Thank you.
Good to see you.